Recognised by its massive wheel, Central Pier here in Blackpool is one of the best piers around in the UK. Last year it was introduced to a new ride, the Flying Bob. Unfortunately, last year in the summer, middle of July, it suffered a large fire, damaging part of that ride and destroying the Waltzers completely. But how is it looking now? We're going to show you. Yes, thank you for joining us here again on the channel, and we're going to be taking a look at Central Pier today to see what progression has been made. In just over 6 months ago was a fire that destroyed one of the best waltzers here in the northwest. We're going to have a look at where they're up to and what's going to be replacing that and roughly the time scale of that. But if you are new to the channel, make sure you are subscribed by hitting that red button if it is still red, and leave a notification bell on as well so you know when our videos and live streams come on YouTube. Also, we're on social media such as Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Those links are now appearing on screen, so make sure you do follow us on there. Now, like I say, we are going to take you around Central Pier. It's been quite some time since I've actually looked to see what progression. Like you see in the last vlog, I've not really been out and about much, so it'd be great to see it. But there is progression happening here. Luckily the tide's actually out, which is unusual because usually when I'm around here the tide's in, so I managed to be able to see, we should be able to see the work. There is work going on, but what you'll see shortly as well of where they're up to with the work. Now, last year when they had the fire, which was on the 17th of July 2020, completely wiped out the waltzers that were on there. Now, the waltzers are getting replaced by another set of waltzers which are coming from New Brighton, which is in the Wirral. They're currently getting refurbished in their yard, getting a rehaul completely redone and everything, and ready to be placed on here. However, the old waltzers are still here. Now, we're also going to take a look at the Matterhorn, which was next to it, called the Flying Bob. That was a newly installed ride of 2020. It literally was open 3 weeks before it got partially burnt, and well, thankfully it's not been completely destroyed, and they are currently working on that as well, and we'll show you some shots of that. But from the side of the pier here, not a lot has changed. Obviously things have been implicating the work, such as COVID and lockdowns and things like that, so the work is now moving on, and it's great to see that they are working under the pier as well, getting the flooring sorted. As you might be able to see or have seen in the past, it has taken away a lot of the woodwork from where the pier was. Now, what started it was this workshop here. As you can see, the right hand side of that is still showing the signs of where it all caught a burn, and the prevailing wind, which is from the west, which was light at the time thankfully as well, sort of went across, and the next ride there was the waltzers. Took hold of the waltzers well, completely took hold of it really quickly, and then it started to affect the ride next to it, which was the Matterhorn. Had a few damaging effects to that, the flooring, the tarpaulin wasn't on at the time, and some of the rides got burnt as well, but they've been taken away and that is getting refurbished. The Flying Bob will be back, thankfully. Now, whilst we're here, we are going to have a little look around the pier from the side as well to see what other progression's going on, because it's always nice to have updates of the Blackpool attractions. It's not something I normally do on Facebook, because right now would be pre-season, and next weekend, or this weekend as it would be, the pier would probably start opening up, because the Pleasure Beach would have been opening this weekend as well, so the chances are the piers would have started opening up, but obviously with lockdown in place and the restrictions, that's not going to happen anytime soon. But what we'll do first, we'll have a look at what's going on here to the side. So as you can see, there is construction or scaffolding going on at the moment underneath there, so they're obviously going to stretch from there all the way across to the other side, where they are going to be replacing the wood planks. As you can hear in the background, the noise as well. They're all harnessed up, so they're all nice and safe as well. But you can see where the holes are, and obviously that's their access point. But as you get a bit closer to it as well, we won't go too far under here because there is work going on and we don't get hit by anything. You can see where, you might not be able to see it, you can see holes in the board in there as well where it affected the flooring. So all that bit was completely cut off, so he wasn't able to access it either. So it's nice to see work now taking place, and there's no, I'm going to give sort of estimates of timescales of how long this is going to take, and hopefully when we'll see the Waltzers back open as well as the Flying Bob. You're looking at probably after Easter at this rate, but the progression of the work is coming on nicely, if I'm honest with you. You can see it all stretches all the way to the centre of the pier. All this bit was affected, and they're going to be working on getting that back together again, which is really good to see. So progression is being made here. So as we know, this was the workshop and this is where it all started. Unfortunately, which is all also being scaffolded up as well, and that's getting worked on to restore that area as well. And there is also work going on over to the front of the pier, so there is other work going on as well, so they're ready for the season. Such a bad year for the pier last year with that involved, and obviously coronavirus was involved, and it's obviously a damaging impact because two of the rides being taken away from here, bearing in mind they were two of the best rides on there, had a massive impact on the pier. So hopefully this year be able to get up and running by the beginning of the summer, so you're talking June, providing restrictions are able for them to open. Also further down the pier are the little shops there, normally a helter-skelter there as well, but that's been taken down as well. So there has been other work going on with the rides. Last year they took the Extreme Miami off the pier as well and gave that a bit of a once over and brought it back onto the pier. And if you're ever wondering how they take the rides off here, during the tides out they get a massive crane onto the beach and lift the rides on and off if they're fully, so that ride being the Miami's all one ride, and that would be lifted onto the pier. So that's interesting to see. It's very amazing to see it as well if you ever get the opportunity to do it. But from down here you can't really see a lot going on, so I think we need to take you into the skies. Let's go. Yes, let's take to the skies and have a look from above of what is going on and how it looks from above using the trusty Mavic Mini drone. If you have a drone yourself, make sure you are taking responsibility for your flight and make sure you are updated on your current regulations, as they did update on the 31st of December 2020. There is restrictions in place in Blackpool where you can and can't fly, and depending on what drone you have, the area too. So as you can see, the Waltzers are still intact quite significantly. The middle cabin there is still there as well, and there is obviously a lot of reasons why this hasn't been removed yet. You can see they're obviously having to do the floor to make sure all under there safe before anything gets removed, because you can think of how heavy that Waltzer ride was. It could, you know, it could be a big hazard before they do any moves there, but you can see how significant that fire was just from a small unit there to the left. And as we roll over, you can see the workmen there as well, getting the scaffolding ready underneath the pier. You can see where the decking as well has come away there, right next to the Flying Bob. And as we move over to that Flying Bob, this was a new ride for 2020 on Central Pier. They acquired it literally a year ago, built it up a year ago, and they weren't able to open it until July, when everything could open up, July the 4th if we all remember. But you can see there, it thankfully didn't take hold of it too much. You can see partial damage where it has been taken away, the boarding where they can easily replicate that. All the cars have been taken off, some of them had some significant damage, but they are working right now to fix that, and that's amazing to see. As we can see as we move round as well, how it looks from that side, and it's great to see that the Flying Bob didn't get destroyed. Like I say, the tarpaulin was removed prior for some work as well, so luckily there was no damage there as well. And there you go, a nice little close-up shot there of how a Matterhorn looks with no cars on it, and how a Matterhorn works. It's really straightforward how that sort of ride works and how it goes round. And if you've ever ridden one of these rides before, you'll know what I mean by the force of how it goes round. And then as the camera pans round, you can see the workshop from the side angles is where it started. You can just see how close those Waltzers were to that workshop as well, and how easily that fire spread. And you might think, well, why has it taken so long for this to be completed? Obviously the pier opened pretty quick after the disaster. So it was, you know, they had to try and keep the pier open, and thankfully the rest of the rides were saved as well. So now you can see this is where the workshop is. You can see the damage to the roof. You can see on the right hand side there is where it started. It's obviously really bad inside, but we can't really get that close to it to be able to see in there. And you can see the scaffolding's been built there. I think they are restoring this. It is. I don't know the extent of the damage inside, but I would imagine they are doing that as we pan round to the back and side of the arcade again. That building there, that's the arcade. If the fire had come from a south direction, it could have taken the whole building out. We've seen piers and arcades burnt down in the past. Now what we'd like to do is also show you around the pier as well, and show you what other work is going on. And as you can see, this is the big wheel. Normally they do dismantle this for maintenance, but the gondolas have been taken apart for a bit of a paint and clean up, and they've just recently been put back together. So that is more or less ready to go, but you do normally see the whole structure taken down. You only have to do that so many times. And as you look down there as well, you can see the little wheel there as well, and the little horses that are there for the kids still intact as well. As we come to the other side of the pier, you can see the Miami Extreme folded. That's completely normal. That was taken off the pier last year for a bit of maintenance. And then Mini Miami next to that as well. And as we pan round even more, again you can see the damage of the fire from this angle and how far it could have spread across if the wind had been in a different angle. Some more rides there. And then as we come down, you can see where Dodgems are, but we can't quite see that there. So as we move down the pier, that's the back of the arcade there, and behind there is two more rides. There's a Helter Skelter that is normally situate there. You can just see the base of it actually, but that's been taken down for maintenance. And then another little Formula ride there too. And then we move down the pier a bit more. This is where they have the little shops. You can get souvenirs, rock, fudge down here, and there's also a couple of game stalls as well. And as we get towards the end of the pier is the Pirate Bay Family Bar, which is quite a newly refurbished bar to fit with the theme of the middle arcade and the front fascia. Nice little bar, family bar, even homes a little arcade at the start as well, so a lot of entertainment for kids should you need it. And the best thing about this is at the end of the pier it has panoramic windows. So in the summer, especially June, July time when the sun is setting, it has such a great view and it's well worth doing, and I strongly suggest having a look in there as well if you're on that pier, as you can see as we pan around there. You can also walk at the end of the pier. You can see how nicely curved it is, and you can see some great views of the coastline. You can see the tower, the pleasure beach. You can also see the other piers alongside. Absolutely something you should do if you're on Central Pier. Definitely walk to the end of the pier.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that video, and it gives you a sort of an in-depth of what's going on here. It's nice to see the developments happening here on Blackpool Central Pier, and yeah, I'm looking forward to be getting back on there. Like I said previously, we do vlogs on piers and rides anyway, so I can't wait to be able to get on the new Waltzers when they're here. We have ridden them before. We have been to New Brighton Fun Fair with Theo before, so we have ridden them before. Be interested to see what the modifications are like and how they work here. Central Pier did have some really epic and crazy Waltzers, so I'd like to see them do that again, especially comparing them to South Pier, which I'm sure we'll do when they come back. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, we do a lot of Blackpool videos as well as fair vlogs and stuff like that, and live streams too. Remember to subscribe by hitting it down below, leave a like and leave a comment. Tell us which your favourite pier is. Is it Central, South, or is it even North Pier? Let us know in the comments below. But until next time, we'll see you on the next video. Make sure you do check out one of the videos at the end after this section. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.